Hello, students. So, okay. Okay. So, safety challenges or risk in a smart cities, right? Okay. So, smart city technologies captures a data which is relating to all the form of privacy and drastically expand the volume, range, and granularity of the data being generated about the people and the places. So, privacy can be threatened and breached by a number of practices which are normally treated as unacceptable. So, however, are part of operation in a smart city ecosystem is first one is surveillance, right? So, watching, tracking, listening, or recording a person's activities, right? That includes in a surveillance. Next is aggression, combination of various aspects of data about a person to identify a trend or a pattern of activities that cause aggression. Next is lack of data protection policies can lead to leakage or improper access of sensitive information known as a data leakage. Right. Next is extended usage. So use of data which is collected for a period longer than stated or for purposes other than the started purposes without the subject's consent. Right. So here this figure indicates the challenges to making a smart city safe and secure, right? So here, first one is a smart sensors, right? So it could be hacked and used to monitor transmission or alter the data to affect the decision making. The second is surveillance, right? So the IP enabled surveillance cameras can be broken into and turned off or used maliciously, right? Next is intelligent traffic management systems. So it can be vulnerable to data integrity attacks and used to cause a chaos, right? Next is a smart grid. So vulnerabilities could be exploited and used to create blackouts, right? So, secure hardware. So, one of the major concerns about the smart city sensor in the equipment, billing, etc., are insecure and not tested thoroughly. Right. So, owing to lack of standardization of IoT devices, the sensors are prone to hacking. So, notorious individuals can hack the sensors and fill the fake data, causing a signal failure, system shutdown, etc. So, larger attack surface, which is a smart city operations, utilize complex network assembly of ICT infrastructure to manage various services, right? So, any devices that is connected to the network is vulnerable to being hacked. So number of potential entry points is multiplied in smart cities. So by compromising a single device, it is possible to attack the entire system or the network. So the vulnerability of the system is bruised by a number of issues, including weak security and the encryption. So use of insecure legacy systems and poor maintenance, cascade effects, and the human errors. Second is bandwidth consumption. So thousands of sensors or actuators trying to communicate to a single server will create a flood of a data traffic which can bring down the server. So additionally, most of the sensors used an encrypted link to communicate, and hence there are possibilities of security lapses. So the bandwidth consumptions from billions of devices will put a strain on the spectrum of other wireless communications which also operate on the megahertz frequencies like radio, television, emergency services, etc. Third one is the application risk. So the apps have accelerated the integration of mobile devices within our daily lives. So from mapping apps to social networking to productivity tools to the games, apps have largely driven the smartphone revolution and have made it as a significant and as far searching researching as it today. So while apps demonstrate utility that is seemingly bound only by developer imaginations, it also increases the risk of supporting bring your own device BYOD in a corporate environment. So as the organization enables employees to bring their own devices, the need for using the same devices to access the work-related data inevitably presents itself. So this presents mainly two security risks. First one is a malicious apps, which is also known as malware. The increase in the number of apps on the devices increases the likelihood that some may contain malicious code or security hooks. Next is apps vulnerabilities. So apps developed or deployed by the organizations to enable access to corporate data may contain security weaknesses. So next is a simple box with a huge impact. So a simple software bug can have a huge impact as the smart cities will run on hundreds of systems and devices managing critical services. A simple software bug can have a huge impact. Next is a smart city are either not regulated or vendors are evading the regulations to manufacture how cost smart devices. Now, next is lack of centralized security, which compromise the data meters, IT infrastructures, and network systems. Next is no data privacy and the protection leading to breach of privacy and unauthorized data usage. So current security and privacy protection technologies. First one is technology solutions. So smart city technologies have a large attack surfaces that have a number of vulnerabilities, especially in the systems that contain legacy components using old software which has not been regularly patched. So the technology solutions aim to use best practices to mitigate this risk. So this includes end-to-end encryption, which is available now on chat applications like WhatsApp, strong password policies like uh, you have your smart application like WhatsApp or Facebook, then they have a two steps verification or something. So updated firewalls and the antivirus and the audit logs and the isolation of trusted resources from the public resources, implement manufacturer overrides on all the systems. So the basic main aim is to reduce the attack surfaces as much as possible and to make the surface that is visible as robust and resilient as possible. So the disaster recovery and the backup services. So the data centers either on site or off site are the heart of the smart cities. So disaster recovery is a critical part of the data centers architecture. So if servers go down, is it important that systems are brought back online as soon as possible? And once those systems are back up and running, need to have all their previous workloads operational. So it is important to identify the right level of backup which is required for various services. So data backups should be done regularly and according to the best practices should be done off-site. So this helps in data protection in case physical security breach at the data center. So in this section, we highlight the critical insights into current and potential technologies used to handle security and the privacy threats in the smart city environment. So here first is a cryptography. So cryptographic algorithms are the backbone of the security and the privacy protection for the services of smart applications because they avoid the access of distrusted parties during the data life cycle of storing, processing, and the sharing. So in this subsection, we attempt to summarize the current cryptographic tools applied to a smart systems and to highlight some novel promising technologies. So second is a blockchain. So although the blockchain technique is a specific technology rather than the discipline, so we use this subsection to introduce it because of the substantially increasing interest around it in the recent years. So a comprehensive survey in this field was conducted in 2016 by Christeris et al. Who verified the uh, res- uh, realizability of applying blockchain to the IoT domain and indicated its significant applications value in the developing of IoT ecosystem. So, decentralized features of blockchain enables applications to operate in a distributed manner, which is the main reason behind the popularity of many blockchains based on IoT applications. Next is the biometrics. So in IoT-based systems, biometrics are vital for authentication, right? So especially this technology can be used to automatically recognize a person through unique behavioral and biological characteristics. So bio data are extracted from fingerprints, faces, voices, handwritten signatures, and so on. So one method mentioning here is a brainwave based authentication, so which can achieve a high degree of authentication accuracy while simultaneously guaranteeing efficiency. So to protect this confidential information of users in a storage devices, a key negotiation and mutual authentication protocol is necessary. So next is the cybersecurity in the smart city. So cybersecurity is the practice of defending computers, servers, mobile devices, electronic systems, networks, data from malicious attacks. Right. So it is also known as information technology security or electronic information security. So the term applies in a variety of contexts from business to mobile computing and can be divided into a few common categories. So here, network security is the practice of securing a computer network from the intruders, whether targeted attackers or opportunist malware. Next is application security, which focus on keeping software and devices free of threats. So, compromised application could provide access to the data is designed to protect. So, successful security begins in a design stage well before a program or device is deployed. Next is information security, which protects the integrity and the privacy of data, both in a storage and in a transit. Next is operational security, which includes the processes and the decision for handling and protecting data assets. The permissions users have been accessing a network and the procedures that determine how and where data may be stored or shared all the fall under this umbrella. Next is the disaster recovery and business continuity. It defines how an organization responds to a cybersecurity incident or any other event that causes the loss of operation of data. So, disaster recovery policies dictates the how the organization restores its operation and the information to return to the same operating capacity as before the event. So business continuity is the plan the organization falls back on while trying to operate without certain resources. So end users education, which addresses the most unpredictable cybersecurity factors, people. So anyone can accidentally introduce a virus to an otherwise secure system by failing to follow good security practices. So teaching users to delete suspicious email attachment, not plug in identify USB drives, and various other important lessons is vital for the security of any organization. So type of cyber threats are threefold. First is a cybercrime, which includes single actors or groups targeting systems for financial gain or to cause disruption. Second is cyber attack, which often involves a politically motivated information gathering. And cyber terrorism is intended to undermine the electronic systems to cause the pain or fear. So here first is a malware. So malware means a malicious software. So one of the most common cyber threats, malware is a software that a cyber criminal or hackers has created to disrupt or damage the legitimate user's computer. So often spread via an unsolicited email attachment or legitimate looking download. Malware may be used by cyber criminals to make money or in a politically motivated cyber attack. So there are some number of different types of malwares, including first is the virus, a self replicating program that attached itself to clean the file and this spreads throughout a computer system, infecting files with a malicious code. Next is the Trojans. So this type of malware that is distinguished as legitimate software So this cyber criminal trick users into uploading these trojans onto their computer where they cause damage or collect data. Next is a spyware, a program that secretly records what you users does so that cyber criminals can make use of this information. For example, spyware to capture credit card details. Next is a ransomware. So this malware which looks down a user's file and data, which threat of erasing it unless a ransom is paid. Next is a adware. So advertising software which can be used to protect malware. Next is a botnets. So networks of malware infected computers which cyber criminals are used to perform tasks online without the user's permission. Next is SQL injection. SQL means structured language query. So this injection is a type of cyber attack used to take control and steal data from a database. So cyber criminals exploit vulnerabilities in a data-driven application to insert malicious code into a database via malicious SQL statement. So this gives them access to the sensitive information contained in the database. Next is phishing, right? So when the cyber criminals target victims with emails that appears to be from a legitimate company asking for sensitive information. So these attacks are often used to dupe people into handing over credit card data and other personal information. Next is a man in a middle attack. The man in the middle attack is a type of cyber threat where a cyber criminal intercepts communication between two individuals in order to steal data. For example, on an unsecured Wi-Fi network, an attacker could intercept the data being passed from the victim's devices and the network. Next is a denial of services attack, which is known as a DOS. So this type of attack is where cyber criminals prevent a computer system from the fulfilling legitimate request by overwhelming the networks and the servers with traffic. So this renders the system unusable, preventing an organization from carrying out vital functions. So the cyber safety tips are update your software and operating system. So this means you benefit from the latest security patches. Second is use antivirus software. The total security will detect and remove the threats and keep your software updated for the best level of protection. Next is use a strong password to make sure to ensure that your passwords are not easily guessable. Next is do not open email attachment from unknown senders. So this could be infected with malware. Do not click on the link in emails from unknown senders on unfamiliar websites. Avoid using unsecured Wi-Fi networks in a public places. So here, there are some overview of current cybersecurity problems affecting cities as well as real threats and possible cyber attacks that could have a huge impact on cities. So some of the possible weak points are traffic control system, smart street lighting, city management system, sensors for public data, mobile applications, cloud and software as a services solution, smart grid as a public transportation, cameras as a social media, and location as a based service. So cybersecurity need smart and sustainable city developments will be carried out by a diverse ecosystems of providers in innovative domains, so which involving state-of-the-art technology, including critical and complex ICT implementations. So increasing ICT complexity, hyperconnectivity, namely through Internet of Things environment, as well as a generation of significant amounts of data, will also mean increasing vulnerability both to the malicious attacks and unintentional incidents. So by conceiving interconnected urban systems with the cybersecurity and the data protection in mind, city administrations will be able to ensure the service continuity, safety, and well-being for citizens and business alike. So IoT provides significant advantages, but it comes along with the associated cyber risk. So as the government gets more and more familiar with the benefits that IoT can deliver, especially for smart cities, a key concern around the security, privacy, and the trust they are likely to grow. So comprehensive understanding about cybersecurity threats that this technology brings is a full is being still worked upon, but its rapid adoption is exposing potential security breaches. So there is a need to ensure that the challenges which the IoT devices and the other smart technology brings upon is adequately addressed. So following are the key components which needs to address upon. Establishing minimum baseline for the security standards, establishing security, privacy, and the trust in ecosystem, driving security across the smart city value chain. Okay, next is a cybersecurity requirement for smart city model framework. So Ministry of Housing and Urban Affairs guidelines, MOHUA, right? It means Ministry of Housing and Urban Affairs. The Government of India released a model framework for cybersecurity in smart cities on 20 May 2016. So it covers the security of the smart cities across the different layers, namely central layer, communication layer, data layer, and the application layer. So the major guidelines includes, but are not limited to, first is designing a secure network architecture based on the NIST reference IT architecture, security solutions that needs to be considered while developing a smart city, secure storage and transmission of data, security assessment of services before and after going live, compliances with standards, different standards, right, which is protected, extensible authentication protocol, and the third generation partnership projects, 3GPP as possible. Setting up and security monitoring for smart city network devices and sensors, reporting of security incidents to relevant bodies such as computer emergency response Team India and National Critical Information Infrastructures Protection Center. The application program interfaces should be published and the IT systems be running on a standard protocols like JSON or XML or REST, etc. So from a network security perspective, all the information that flows on the network should be encrypted to ensure the safety and the privacy of the confidential data. So the devices at each endpoint of the network should be authenticated. The authentication system used on those endpoint devices should ensure that the only authorized users are sending data over the network and there is no rogue data that is sent to the control system to generate the false alarm or sabotage the system. All sensors deployed as a part of IT and IT-based systems in the smart city should talk only to the authorized wireless network and do not loop on to the rough network, right? So all the traffic from the sensors in the smart city to the application servers should be encrypted, secure socket layer SSL and authenticated prior to sending any information. So all the applications and apps will undergo the static and dynamic security testing before the deployment and be tested with the respect to security on a regular basis at least once in a year. Okay, so next is the disaster management in a smart cities. So India's ambitious smart city project needs an effective disaster management plan to combat natural disasters and man-made disruptions in the smart city. So it has been gathering a lot of traction of late, mostly due to government's increased efforts to secure the high quality urban life. Looking at the rapid increase in a man-made disruptions and natural catastrophes such as heavy rains, floods, disaster management, and the emergency response mechanisms are indisputably treated as the most integral factors for the development of the smart city. So India's unpreparedness for natural disaster is supported by the recent report by the socio-economic and Educational Development Society and the Center for Research on the Epidemiology of Disasters, which states that as much as 56% of smart cities are prone to floods, which are responsible for 77% of all the disasters in India. So the report is based on disaster data between 2000 and 2017 and states that India has a mean of 11 food events per district over the last 18 years. So in June 2013, over 5,000 people were estimated to be dead after a series of cloud bursts that caused several floods and devastating landslides in the North Indian state of Uttarakhand. So the heavy rainfall resulted in a collapse of tourism and hospitality sectors, which contribute close to 30 to 35% of Uttarakhand's GDP. So in 2017, following heavy rains, the state of Gujarat was affected by several floods, which resulting in a more than 200 deaths. The Chennai floods have again questioned urban planning and disaster management efforts as India's fourth largest metropolitan city, Chennai's lack of response to natural disaster is a big concern, and such instances need to be tackled with adequate IT and digital infrastructure. So, by leveraging the benefits of big data such as learning algorithms, IoT sensors from the storm drains, and satellite image review, the local government can determine when to evacuate citizens and initiate disaster preparation during the possibility of rising tides and the heavy force. Okay, so next is the big data analysis and the Internet of Things. So, intensity of natural and man-made disaster increasing day by day. So, smart cities are mostly affected because of rigid construction of building, high population, and high traffic. So, the effect of this disaster in the cities will be worse compared to the villages. So, also the casualties and the damages in the cities will be very high. Effective disaster management technique should be introduced in a smart city. So it mainly uses two criteria, which is a BDA and IoT. So IoT devices are sensors used for collecting real-time data sets from the environment, and the tweeters are used to get non-structured data. So IoT allows communicate with the devices via internet as it will increase the data collection and the data transferring procedures efficiency. But the problem with the IoT devices in the disaster management technique is that they collect the data or parameters only. Therefore, the data storage and management tends to be very challenging. So, in order to avoid the situation, we use big data analysis as the backend for processing data for the IoT data. So, for BDA, important task is to find hidden values from data sets having a big size of various data types. So big data analysis is a modern, efficient way for processing data. So it is clearly evident about the advantages and disadvantages of using IoT and BDA, which is based on disaster management system. By using these IoT devices, we can collect the real-time data sets from the atmosphere, which helps for frequent data collection and faster the mode of data collection for analysis. So this can be easily installed without affecting any human life and daily routines. So this can be connected to internet sources, to clouds and other storage platforms for analyzing. Also, it will have a good intro inter interoperability between the devices established throughout the surroundings. So this device, which is also known as a multiple data sources devices, BDA is the latest kind of analyzing technology to analyze the large volume of data frequently. So it allows a high-speed data analyzing, right? So we conclude for faster data collection, the IoT devices are essential for analyzing the large volume of data. So disaster management cycle, it includes the following phases, which is prevention, mitigation, preparedness, response, and recovery. So here a basic format of disaster management cycle is given. Here the alternative format for disaster management cycle also given, right? So first one is a prevention. So actions within this segment is designed to impede the occurrence of a disaster or prevent such an occurrence having a harmful effect on communities or key installations. So the following are usually classified as a preventive measures, which is constructing a dam or leave to control the flood water so that the later cannot adversely affect people, building and other installations, livestock's means of production and subsistence, and so on. Control burning off in a bushfire prone area prior to the high fire risk season. So this action can remove potential fuel and actually prevent the start of a fire, or if it does start, prevent it from reaching fattening proportions. So some form of legislation can also be regarded as a prevention. Okay. So it is a noteworthy that some countries tend to use this term prevention or mitigation as a combined heading for action within two segments. So next is the mitigation. So action within this segment usually takes the form of special programs which intended to reduce the effect of a disaster on a nation or community. So for instance, some countries regard the development and application of a building code that can reduce the damage and loss in the events of earthquakes and cyclones as being in the category of mitigation. So other countries may regard such building codes as being in a category of prevention. So recent development in earthquake-proof buildings have undoubtedly influenced this outlook. So there are some programs are generally regarded as coming under the heading of mitigation, which is enforcement of building codes, land use regulations, safety regulations relating to high price building, control hazardous substances, etc. Safety codes governing land, sea, and air transport systems. Agricultural programs aim at reducing the effect of hazards on crops. Systems to protect the key installations such as power supplies, vital communications, and development in infrastructure such as the routing of new highways away from the disaster prone areas.